Hi everyone! In this video, we are going to look at the difference between function expressions and function declarations. These are the two main ways to create functions in JavaScript. While you see both of them in React, one is much more common in modern development, mostly because it keeps the code simple and consistent. So, what exactly is an expression? Basically, it's anything that produces a value. If you can store it in a variable, it's an expression. Think of things like strings, numbers, booleans, or even arrays. Even something as 2 plus 2 is an expression because it evaluates to 4. Later, we'll see how this applies to React, specifically with JSX and operators like the ternary or logical, because they all produce a value. Now, what about declaration? Think of declaration as introducing a new name to your course dictionary, or what we call the scope. When we declare a variable with let, we are telling JavaScript, hey, I'm going to use this name later. Sometimes we give it a value immediately, and sometimes we don't, in which case JavaScript just gives it the value of undefined. Now it's getting interesting. A function declaration is like saying, here is a function and this is its name. We use the function keyword followed by the name and provide a block of code right away. A function expression, on the other hand, is when we treat a function just like any other value, like a string or a number. We create the function and then assign it to a variable. That's why it's called an expression. So, which one should you use in React? You can use both, but function expressions are the winner in modern development. Here's why. First, hoisting. Function declarations can be called before they're even defined in the code. This might sound cool, but it can make your code messy and hard to follow. Most developers prefer to define a function first and then use it. Second, consistency. Expressions work perfectly as callback functions. You know, those functions we pass as arguments to other methods. And finally, arrow functions. Arrow syntax is just a shorter, cleaner way to write function expressions. We'll dive deep into those in later on, because that's how we'll be writing most of our components and logic. To wrap things up, in JavaScript, we can create functions using either declarations or expressions. Just remember that expressions produce a value that we can store, while declarations simply introduce a name. Modern React favors expressions, especially arrow functions, because they make the code cleaner and more logical. Thanks for watching, see you next time.